Spain smash 4 past Georgia, and commiserations to the Georgians. I think they have been an excellent side at Euro 2024. Exciting, exhilarating, pulsating counterattacks. And they gave the Spaniards a scare tonight, taking that lead, dangerous on the counterattack. But we've all said it all along, well, since the first ball has been kicked, really, that the Spanish, who some, including myself, probably wrote off a little bit coming into this tournament, maybe quarterfinalists, maybe semi-finalists, they have shone through again as the very best team at Euro 2024 so far. They set up a massive quarterfinal against the host nation, Germany. Very, very excited for that one indeed. Of course, people, look, hit like buttons. Make sure you are subscribing. Shout out to our title sponsors tonight at StocksFC. And trust me, Rodri's already paying out huge rewards if you have stocks in him. I think he's going to keep delivering at this tournament. I think he's going to keep delivering in the Premier League. I think he's going to keep delivering in the Champions League. You need to invest in Rodri. A stellar performance from him, there's no doubt. And of course, we've got to speak about Yamal. In the build-up to this tournament, we were all talking about who we think, could be the wonder kid of this tournament, who could be the standout, who could be the individual that essentially takes this tournament by storm, the young star. And Mainu's name came up, João Felix's name came up, and quite a few people on our panel said Yamal. And this young man has been nothing short of amazing. Absolutely spellbinding performance again tonight, barring his finishing. But do you know what? I don't care about the standards. I don't care about being fair to everybody. This is a 16-year-old boy who is studying and doing exams during this tournament. Yes, he missed some opportunities, but his overarching play was nothing short of sensational. And one of the elements of young Yamal that I love, I love this deeply, is his selflessness. He will be in a position where a lot of inside forwards shoot. It cuts in. You think, oh, he could curl it to the back post. Oh, he could give the goalkeeper the eyes and goes to the near post. Looks to cross, looks to feed other people. His decision-making and his lack of selfishness at 16 years of age is arguably the best I've ever seen at that age. It's so grown up. It is so mature together to think, you know what? It's better if I square this ball to Almo to have a shot than it is me trying to score a perler. We're 3-1 up. Nobody's going to mind if I miss, but I'm going to square the ball. His passing is good. His dribbling is solid. His crossing of the ball, there's been a number of crosses in this tournament alone that have been David Beckham-esque. He is the real deal. There is absolutely no doubt about that in any capacity whatsoever in my mind. This kid is the real deal. 100%. Now, to get to the level that his ability promises or suggests, that's about hard work, determination, staying injury-free, staying upon the straight and narrow, being this mature, level-headed young man that he already is as he becomes a fully grown man. So he's still got a lot of hard work to put in. But if all that happens, this kid, we talk about generational talents. This is what he is. He could become a generational player. He has the ability to be world-class. He's one of the best at this tournament already. And he's 16 years of age. And I wanted to shout him out. I wanted to praise him. I wanted to give him his flowers because I think this young man deserves it in every single which way. He didn't get on the score sheet tonight, but he's a huge candidate for the man of the match performance. Of course, I've mentioned Rodri. Now, Rodri was just excellent again. His goal, the shot has got a little bit understated because it kind of trickles into a certain degree, very accurate, but it was a touch before the goal. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. The touch was just ridiculous. It was like he was trapping a bag of cement the way it stuck to him and did exactly what he wanted. It was out of this world. I also want to talk a little bit about Nico Williams as well, because I'm going to be really objective about this. I'm going to be really objective about it because I want to make sure that I'm not going over the top. I've heard 50-50 about Nico Williams. And when I say 50-50, some people rave about him for the last year. Others write him off. I've got to watch him more at club level. I feel a little differently about Yamal because everybody praises him. So this is someone that is not, there's almost zero polarization, which is bloody weird for 2024 because everything's polarized from how you like to drink your tea right through to politics. But I've been very impressed with Nico Williams at this tournament. His goal tonight, I don't think people understand how hard it is to do what he did. I'm not talking about timing his run and the skill and cutting in. Looking in this direction, but burying it in the opposite side, having the accuracy, it's a really hard thing to do. The next time you play football, look in the direction straight ahead of you and then shoot the ball at a 45-degree angle without looking and see how accurate you are. Then add into that you've got international quality players, an international goalkeeper at an international tournament with the world watching you. Phenomenal. And the reason why I said I want to be objective, the reason I say I want to be objective is because Terry twerks for Arsenal in England. Yeah, Rodri and Yamal and Nico Williams are Arsenal in England. I love it. I know you're only joking, Rahman, you good guy. What was I saying? Nico Williams. I'm not, where I'm being objective is I'm not going to say, wow, Man United, sign him up off of a tournament. I'm starting to side with the people that rate him as a player, but I want to watch him a bit more at club level, club European level, before I make that decision. Because I don't think he's not on the, he's a level below where I think Yamal is, even though you could argue he's ahead of him in terms of, because of his age and experience, but that's another conversation for another day. Especially physically, he's ahead of him as of right now. But I've been so blown away with how good he is. I think Fabian Ruiz, a goal today from that Yamal cross, excellent. But I think Fabian Ruiz has just been, again, you talk about team of the tournament so far that people have done these. Yamal's in that team. Nico Williams is probably in that team. Rodri's in. You've got to be talking about Rodri being in the side. Fabian Ruiz has got to be in that side. Cucurella, you're talking about being in that team. And why that's really, really interesting is that I just don't think people would have picked this team and these players to be as good as they are at this tournament. And it's not good to see as an England fan. I want it to be England, but as a football fan, it's excellent to see. And you may have some other individuals that stand out. You are right. Yeah, Cucurella, excellent. I've been so impressed with Cucurella this tournament. Really been impressed by him. And you know what? Someone here says, Almo, I want to shout out. This is a really good comment. I absolutely agree. I'm getting some feedback from something, and I don't know what it is. Must be my phone, but I've got my phone on airplane, but I've never, ever had that. I've been streaming for 5, 6, 7 years, and never had interference from my phone in my ears before. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Anyway, Almo, do you know what I loved at this tournament about this young man? Forget his ability for the moment. Forget his goals. Forget all of that, because that stuff is very, very important. But there's an intangible here that isn't being discussed. He was a first teamer a couple of years ago, one of the main guys. And due to the emergence and the development and the qualities of your Nico Williams and your Yamals, he's been pushed down the pecking order. But what I love about this young man is that has not fazed him. That has not upset him. That hasn't made him throw his toys out of his pram. You see, I've seen his face on the bench. I've seen his face when he scores. I've seen his face when his teammates do well when he's on the bench. This man's happy. He wants his nation to win. And I love that. It's the absolute correct attitude. And as a kid, I watched a film as a kid. And I love sports movies. They're a bit cheesy, especially the American ones, but I like them. Big fan of the Mighty Ducks. My era. My era. I was a kid. Mighty Ducks 2. Okay, it's where they were at an international tournament. I think it's called the Junior Goodwill Games. I remember this stuff really well. I've watched Mighty Ducks a lot. And Adam Banks, who's a star player of the Ducks, but in this case, Team America, he gets an injury. They're playing Iceland. He gets, I don't know what they call it in hockey, but he gets hit with a stick. I don't know what they call the foul anymore, but there we go. It doesn't matter what they call it. He's injured. And then on the final, they've actually recruited somebody else who's actually played by the guy that plays Keenan from Keenan and Kel. I can't remember his actor name. And he has a knuckle puck shot, and they're doing really, really well. And Adam Banks turns up on the day of the final and says, I'm fit, my wrist is healed. And he's the best player by far. No one in the team is as good as him. But the roster is filled. And then Charlie Conway, who is sort of maybe the main character, he becomes the main character of the Ducks and the captain of the Ducks, makes this gesture where he just says, you can have my spot on the team because we play the same position. You are better than me. And I'm going to take a back seat because the other guys who have come into the side have also been performing well and they deserve it more. And I know it's a movie, but a lot of films, this stuff happens in sport. And you see that with Almo. I'm not quite saying it happened in the same way the Mighty Ducks film did. That's the cheese and the Hollywood. But the mentality is the same. They want the team to succeed more than they want to be individually be the stars. And it's such an important, intangible commodity for a sports team to have. And I wanted to shout that out because it's something that's been on my mind this whole tournament. I haven't really expressed it. Very, very impressed with him indeed. The Flying V was serious, man. You say I love a Mighty Ducks reference. I think that may be the first time I've ever referenced the Mighty Ducks. It's a great film. It's a great movie. I can't wait to show my kids it as they get a little bit older and they actually start to understand it. This here says, I can't pronounce the name, but I'm gonna mess it up now. I'm trying to read it. Coached many under divisions in divisions of Spanish national teams, and he knows how to work with the youth. Spain has a great footballing culture, even if there isn't as much money as England. Obviously, it's the manager. Yes, I mean, and they do, and they're brave. And he understands playing your best team and not necessarily your best players, and he understands how to control games. And yes, they went a goal down, but they didn't panic. They know when to press, they know when to set off. And as technically gifted as Spain are, they keep it very, very basic. Terry, rank Yamal, Bellingham, and Musiala as the worst, the best. See, I don't like the language here because none of them are bad. So when you use the word worst, it sounds negative. So if I'm gonna do it based on talent, okay, because they're too young to talk about their careers yet. Based on talent, we're gonna go from talent, not where they are, in case anybody gets triggered. Okay, so we're gonna go from top class talent, world class talent, generational talent. We'll go in that order there. If I had to rank them, I would go Musiala, Yamal, Bellingham. No, I'm joking. I'm winding you up. I would go Bellingham, Musiala, Yamal. And the reason why I have Yamal on top right now is that he's 16. I want to repeat that again. He is 16. It's ridiculous. That's what, like 5. This is what's crazy. The difference between their ages with Bellingham and actually, how old is Musiala? Is he 21? Is he 21, 22? I'm going to have to find out now because I need to know. I don't know how old he is because I've never searched it before. Musiala. Let me see how old he is. I want to say he's 21. He's 21. 5 years difference. There's 5 years difference. That's like comparing Musiala to someone who's 27. Sorry, 26. That's the difference in age. That's why I've got to rank it that way, my friend. I have to. But I wouldn't use the word worst to best because they're all brilliant. They're all absolutely brilliant. The difference is, though, is that they have different skill sets. So I don't think Jude Bellingham will ever be as technically gifted as the two of them. But what Bellingham is proving to be thus far in his career more is absolutely clutch. And that's a very interesting commodity because someone like Didier Drogba scored a good amount of goals. But the amount of finals he scored in, the amount of big games that he scored in some respects, that may elevate him in terms of legacy in the game than someone that scored on average 10 to 12 more goals a season than him. Equally, when it comes to ability, you can have more technical ability than Jude. But if Jude wins more games through goals and moments and therefore lifts more trophies on a more consistent basis, that will put you above the ability. So it's a really good debate, but all three of them are amazing. And if I see anyone, moderators, if you see anyone slagging any of those guys off, calling them trash and rubbish and anything like that, block them. I very rarely block people for football opinions, but if you think any three of those players are bad football players, you don't deserve an opinion on football. I'll say it outright. If you think any of them are bad, rubbish, crap, you don't deserve a footballing opinion. They're all amazing. Fabian Ruiz has been amazing. Also, he looks like a different player from what he does at PSG. Well, it's one of those interesting things. We've had these discussions in the last few days about transfers to Manchester United. And I don't like it. This guy hasn't worked at PSG, therefore I don't want him. This is an international tournament, and some players play up and they never reach these levels again. But sometimes, look, we know the world of football is very system orientated now, probably more so than ever before. There's always been systems, but I think they're more regimented than ever. And I think that depending upon the system of which you're playing in, you can see drastic differences within players. Drastic differences. That I think that maybe that's what we're seeing with him, but he's been excellent in this tournament. He looks absolutely sublime. Box crusher, that's all. When you say that's all, do you know how important that is? Let me give you an example. I would probably put him in the same category as a Frank Lampard. If you're just going to tell me that Frank Lampard is, he's just box crushing, do you know how important that is? That's crazy. That's absolutely imperative to a team, my friend. It really, really is. We're going to bring out Dayo. We're going to bring out Husam to come on and have their say. Make sure like buttons have been smashed, by the way. Make sure you're all subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Terry more bevved up than Shane McGowan on a Friday night. No, I had a couple of drinks this afternoon, mate, but I'm good. Just in a good mood. And Nico Williams is better than all of them combined. I like Nico Williams, but I wouldn't go that far, bruv. I wouldn't go that far, bruv. But Sam's here, Dayo's here. Welcome back, gentlemen. How are you both? Are you well?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Beautiful day. I hate when this layout is like this because now I have to go like, how can I put my face?
Well, Mo ain't turned up. Where's Mo? Where's Mo at? Like, any Mo here? Men's have 4, and he ain't here.
I have no idea where Mo is.
Here he is. Here he is. There we go. There he is.
All right, Mo's here now.
There we go. Speak of the devil. You should have mentioned £1 million or something. Why mention Mo? Now, back to the topic. I'm so proud of what we did today. I think today was an absolutely
fuck off, bro. Come on, fuck off now.
You're fucking Egyptian living in the US referring to Italy as we. Sit on the fucking floor, let me speak. I'm so proud of what we did today on the football pitch.
Bro.
I'm so proud of what we did on the football pitch today. Spain absolutely cooked. Incredible performance from us. And, I watched the team today, and it's funny because at 1-0, it's like 100 people flocked into the stream to quote-unquote cook me and shit. I'm like, listen, we're going to come back. I could see it because at the start, before Georgia scored, it was a cooking session. Yamal on the right, Nico Williams on the left, but then Georgia scored. Now, the following is what I said to all these people. All the people who celebrated Georgia going 1-0 up, I asked them one question. Genuinely deep down, do you actually believe that Georgia has a chance against Germany? Everyone just stopped. I was like, some people will continue to cook, but the rest of the guys were like, nope, low-key, you're right. We actually don't have a chance against Germany. And at the end of the day, in the quarterfinal, I'll be honest with you, I don't want Germany to win this Euros. Germany cannot win this Euros. I just don't want to see that happen at all. I'm supporting Spain and Turkey. Those are the two nations I'm supporting. And I think Spain, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to make a prediction now. I'm not worried about Germany whatsoever. I think Spain will slap Germany. I'll be so honest with you. I think 2-0 win, comfy. I look at the way that Nico Williams and Yamal played today, and I think those two are a torture for whoever the hell they come up against. They would torture any team. They would torture City. They would torture Arsenal. They would torture Liverpool. They would torture any club. Those two are just not normal when it comes to just how effective they create chances. And I always quote Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry is right. Look, there are people who dribble with a purpose and people who dribble without a purpose. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams are the perfect examples of dribbling with a purpose. When they dribble, they're not dribbling for the sake of it. They're not doing a Luis Diaz. They're not doing an Anthony, with all due respect. Like, I'm going to dribble, I'm going to spin around, and it looks really sexy on the eye, but do nothing. Nico Williams was getting into space and trying to create something. Yamal today, I think, was a little bit unlucky in front of goal because he was like close 2 or 3 times, but they dribble with a purpose to create space. And I think this is, for me, the most impressive thing about Spain before I hand the mic over. The most impressive thing is the following. The fact that this is not at all like watching Spain from 2008 to 2012. It's no longer a possession fetish type team. It's no longer a let me pass left and right 300 million times. No. If you watch Spain for real, you know for a fact they're very direct now. And they're actually willing to give the ball away every now and then to hit you on the counter-attack. Because the way that they're using Morata, it's like a marriage between a target man and a false nine. He's like in the middle, you know? He's not a target man and he's not a false nine. He's like somewhere in the middle. He's what they call, quote-unquote, a center forward. So he's dropping deep, and he's actually taking a defender with him, and he's allowing Yamal and Nico Williams to cook, and I think it actually works. And the dynamic of the midfield with Pedri there, with Fabian Ruiz there, and Rodri in behind them, it just works. It just makes sense because Spain are not going by names. Spain are not doing the Southgate. Spain are not doing the England, which is let's just get all the players on the pitch at the same time who are fucking amazing. Fabian Ruiz is on the pitch. Many people would say that, you know, they'd prefer someone else over Nico Williams pre the tournament. I promise you that. Maybe some people would prefer someone else over Alvaro Morata. Maybe people would prefer a defender other than Laporte. I think the way that Spain do it is the following, and this is why it's become successful this tournament. Looking at who works together and not the name and the quality of an individual and putting them into the same team, and it works. That's what I genuinely
I thought
believe.
Nico Williams is overrated. Isn't after the first game, Husam said Nico Williams is overrated.
Listen, Nico Williams is
backtrack now. Backtrack.
You can be overrated and good.
Revise your statement.
You can be overrated and good.
Yeah.
Barella's overrated, but
is he overrated? Okay, don't worry about. But is he overrated or is he good?
This is the same guy that says you can be overrated and good at the same time.
Is he overrated or good? Just answer then.
You can be overrated and good at the same time as my answer.
Anyway, Nico
I don't have to
Williams
answer it the way you want me to answer it.
Nico Williams today. I don't need to answer anything. You're just
He's overrated a little bit, but he's good.
Nico Williams today, very direct and absolutely amazing today. He actually cooked more than Lamine Yamal today. To be honest, he was amazing. That's why people don't want to say, oh, Lamine Yamal is. Nico Williams was amazing today. Direct. Dribbling is amazing. The finish, by the way, sublime finish. To be honest, by Nico Williams. Spanish team is, as I'm gonna echo what Sam said, they're direct. They aren't just pass the ball until you die. He's great. They're great. They're very direct. They're going forward. Really,
that's very good, by the way.
By the way, this reminds me of the Neymar, Messi, and Luis Suarez. It's not all about the tiki-taka. It's about the shortest distance to the goal. This is Spain.
You have to clarify.
It's basically the difference between passing.
No, because people will think you're saying it's Suarez, Neymar, Messi level, not style. So you have to clarify that part very importantly.
No.
Because the chat is about to call you crazy.
Yeah, no. Luis Enrique, the style is like, I'm not gonna just pass the ball around until I score the perfect goal. Is like I'm gonna take risks. I'm gonna play long ball. I'm gonna play diagonal balls. I'm gonna let my winger dribble, even though maybe it's a him 1-on-2. I'm gonna let my winger try to make a cross. I'm gonna let my winger try to go. I'm gonna let my midfielders shoot. Even they had plenty of shots that were blocked, but they're taking risks. You know what I mean?
Even Laporte shot.
Yeah, they are making the goalkeeper work. The goalkeeper is on his toes, working. He isn't sleeping. They aren't passing the ball without a purpose. That's the whole point, which is I love this brand of football. I'm watching this and I'm loving this brand of football. It's enjoyment. It's entertaining. You're watching it. You're waiting for something to happen. But to be honest, Georgia as well, they played very good counter-attacks, 2-on-2. Kvaratskhelia was great, and the other guy was absolutely great. I think Georgia as well deserves a little bit of credit. They had good moments. But Spain, to be honest, as one of the main contenders, but Spain are going to go out to Germany. Let's just face it. Germany are the host nation.
Jeremy, do you remember what I said about Spain?
Put 1 second, Dayo, because let's put an apology on it right now. If you are a man and you believe that, let's put an apology on it.
Listen, I'm a man regardless what you say.
Yes, right? You're a man regardless. We want to apology bet. We cannot bet money, me and you. Apology bet. Very simple. If Germany beats Spain, I will come here and say, I'm sorry, Mo, you were right, you know ball. And in reverse, this exact sentence. And in reverse, if Spain beat Germany, you have to say, I'm sorry, Husam, You were right. You know ball. That's it. Not
That's
crazy.
that's the difference between me and you. When I
There
say
you are.
Spain are gonna knock out
You
Germany, that's a
couldn't
complete
take it,
difference.
couldn't
That's
take
not being in the fence. That's a difference. Football. You always tell people football is not black and white.
You said
You
that's
always
so
tell people-
nonchalant.
You
Spain
always
are going out
just
next
let me
round.
talk because we let you waffle about betting and apologies and shit like that.
There you are.
Basically, what happens is exactly this. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy, as your picture says? It's who's your daddy, as the picture says exactly on your avatar, right? Them. Basically, it's not a full-on conclusion that Germany will win, but I think a host nation on the counter attack, as we saw today, right? Georgia ripped Spain apart on the counter attack. I think actually Germany
And
has
Spain didn't rip Georgia.
they did, but the difference is if Georgia had more quality than what they have, I think the game would be 2-0 in the first half.
Yeah,
2-0
and
in the
before
first
Georgia
half.
scored the first, Spain could have been 3-0.
That's the thing, Husam. Jamal Musiala, even Leroy Sané and Kai Havertz, if they play full courage, if they play anyone, I think they have the quality.
I trust Carvajal though.
Bro, they got cooked by Kvaratskhelia, bro, and the other guy. What's
No,
his
no,
name?
Carvajal
The
is
guy.
very good. He's used to this. You get me? That's it. I'm not insulting
Maybe,
Musiala.
but I actually think that Germany have the quality on the. People said that if Spain get tested, their defense is wide open. Today, they got tested, right? They got tested, and I didn't think they succeeded. Yes, Georgia scored 1 goal and own goal, but Georgia had plenty of chances.
Terry,
Like,
Terry, do you remember?
objectively
Terry, do
speaking.
you remember my first prediction when the tournament started about Spain? And I said this is a team that I think is actually going to win.
Yes.
I said I yes. So it's Spain today. I mean that own goal. I'll be honest with you. I feel like Georgia just went and pinched the tail of a tiger. Like the tiger was sleeping. The Georgians decided it is time to go and pinch this tail of this tiger and let's just put 1 goal in. And they got that own goal. And from then on, I was just like, these guys are dead. I just knew they were finished. I knew that they didn't stand a chance. They played well, don't get me wrong, but you don't stand a chance against a team like Spain the way they were playing today. I knew I from when the game started, I knew it was going to be in the ranges of 2, 3, 4. I expected more, in fact. Like honestly speaking, because this Spanish team, if they get past Germany, they win the Euros. If they get past Germany. Now, Germany is going to be their biggest test for me. This is a team that if you score them, they'll score you. Like they may not have their defense may not be able to stop the German attack as well, but it's whoever outscores who, or whoever breaks who down in the middle, and nobody can score, and they go to penalties, and then we'll see, where both teams stand. But as of right now, this is the team that I think, like just etches it over every other team.
Why are you saying that? They played Georgia today. They're not
I know.
a top
Before
team.
I said this, unless I reminded you, I said this the very first game they played more. I'm not saying it because of the Georgia game today. I said it when on paper. I said on paper they look balanced as well. Their midfield looks balanced on paper.
Yeah.
Their attack looks balanced on paper.
Yeah.
Their defense may not be the best, but because of the players that they have in midfield and because they can also control the ball a lot and they're very direct. Before the tournament started, and I told Terry, I said, on paper, I've looked at all the teams and everybody's like stats, and I'm like, these guys look the most dangerous. And that's all I'm basing it on.
I remember you saying it, and it's come to fruition. I wasn't that sure about Spain in the sense that I probably had a little bit of the last tournament on my mind, thinking, are they going to start well and fade? They've become a much, much better team in the last 2 years. They really, really have. And before we get onto some of the young superstar, I wanted to ask you guys about Rodri, because obviously we're all very familiar with him as Premier League fans, but that was just another, Spain had one of the greatest international teams of all time 10 to 15 years ago. Rodri is a player that I think, I mean this, I don't care how reactionary people think this is. I think if he continues in this vein, he's in the conversation with Busquets in terms of he's on that level, because but he scores goals as well, dominates those midfield areas. He has energy for days. He's never injured and always available. Rodri's just a powerhouse, boys, and he club and country consistently for years now. He just delivers.
I think he has more to his game, in my opinion, than Busquets. I said that many times. Why you're laughing? I'm gonna explain. The difference is Rodri. Under Pep Guardiola, Busquets played under Pep. I played in Spain. He looked great. Busquets is a very, very good, right? Very good DM.
Who does Rodri play under my aunt?
But I'm gonna tell you the difference. Rodri doesn't have the get out of jail card. Rodri sometimes he is the get out of jail card with this Man City. Today he is the one. He is the one that brought Spain back to the game. That's what
I
Rodri does.
disagree with
He
that.
added. Rodri scored in a Champions League final to win Man City the treble. Rodri is not only being a DM that passed the ball around and stop transitions and get the ball from the defense to the offense. Rodri added goal. People just like the nostalgia, right? Busquets maybe technically was better than Rodri in terms of dribbling, but what Rodri has is effectiveness. Rodri added goals to his games and assists to his game. We saw how he scored in the Champions League with the left foot last season, like that curler in the far post in the eight. We saw today. We saw with Man City in the Champions League final. He is clutch. People just love the nostalgia, right? Busquets had a longer career. He won more, maybe Champions Leagues, right? He won La Liga, but he had Messi for the most of his career. Rodri doesn't have a Messi. Rodri is part of the team of Man City. I actually think that people just love the nostalgia and love the Busquets and the Barcelona team. If you add Rodri to that Barcelona team, he does exactly what Busquets does, but he adds goals to it. That's why he adds over Busquets.
I look at this. Someone here says, like, why do you have to mention Busquets? The reason I'm mentioning Busquets, I want to put this out, it's not to disrespect him. It's to talk about how you could look at maybe Lamar. There's a lot of these current Spanish players who I don't think touched the squad of 10 years ago. The reason why I'm mentioning that squad is because I think Rodri's one. You probably got young Yamal that would have got near the squad. You could probably look at Danny Carvajal at right back potentially as well. We know how good he is. But the vast majority don't make that great squad. Rodri, for me, is someone that's in and around that team. I'm not saying he starts over Busquets, but he is of that level. He is that good, in my opinion. Dayo, what's your thoughts on him at this tournament, that overall he's overarching qualities?
I mean, Rodri is class. Like, if we're talking about a player that is at the very top of his game right now, Rodri has to be mentioned. I think comparing him to in this tournament so far, let me just speak about that first. In this tournament so far, Rodri has been good, too good to be. I mean, let's call it what it is. I've seen him. I think the game before this one where he got a yellow card. I think that was his first yellow card or something. He got a yellow card for a tackle that I felt he took that tackle because he had to take one for the team. Like, you can tell that he has that level of experience to be able to do certain things, like, break the transition, get the ball, pass the ball, move the ball forward, and he also has goals. So Rodri, for me, like, he's doing what he has been doing at Man City. He's doing it for his country again, and he also has a lot of very, very good players around him to be able to for him to be able to shine as well. Because if they weren't as good, he would have to carry the team on his head, which he did today as well. I mean, by scoring that equalizer, it was his first touch that just got me, honestly. Like, the ball came to him, and the way he touched the ball and let it roll before he took that shot. Of course, football, there's always the element of luck going in between the defender's leg, and all of that is part of it. But if you want to start comparing him to Busquets, he's in the conversation, yes, but he's not there yet for me. I mean, he's
that's very fair.
I think, and I'll say this. Let me. I hear you that he can do what Busquets does and he adds goals, but until he does it, I have to look at every single data and every metric. Busquets in his own right did it for a very long time. Rodri has to do it for that duration of time as well. For me to look at both of them and say, hey, you know what? In your 15 years of doing it, hold on. Listen, hear me out. He's adding goals. He's doing what Busquets does. I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree. But if something happens to his career next season and he gets his leg broken and he's out for 18 months, he comes back, he's not the same Rodri, he'll be forgotten in the history of books of duration.
That element, I just want to say before I go to you, Mo, that element, Dayo, I agree with. In terms of legacy, he is nowhere near.
Thank you. Yes,
that's what I'm saying. So it's that legacy.
Again, there is what I'm talking about, just to rephrase again for anybody in the comment section who's getting angry. I'm just talking about the quality Rodri is at right now that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. If this was 15 years ago and he's at that level, he would have an opportunity. He is good enough to be in the equation to start for that great Spanish team. That is what we're talking about here. In terms of legacy, he doesn't touch Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets as of right now. Those guys were not only treble winning, Champions League winning, multiple title winning. They were World Cup winning, Euros winning, and they did it for 10, 15 plus years. So there's a difference between your overarching quality at your peak and your legacy in the game. They are two very, very, very different conversations. And I think it's important to ensure we're differentiating on those things. On Rodri, I just want to show some people here. I'm going to put this up on the screen for you all to see. This is the current live scores for the rewards on StocksFC. You can see Rodri today picked up 65 points. He's actually not the highest scorer today. Luis Diaz was in the Colombia versus Costa Rica game, actually. You can see his full score here, what he actually got points for, the goal, shots, key passes, the tackles that he won. Didn't get a clean sheet, but he was on the winning team. So in totality, that is 65 points for him. And when it comes to Rodri, as people can see, his value hasn't grown massively over since his IPO was released. But you can see here, people that own the stocks in him, $19,000 of rewards have been paid in Rodri. And again, he's someone, my methodology on StocksFC is very much buying the new IPOs, players that I think are going to serve me well. But the amount of money he makes, he could very well be worth an investment onto your portfolio of players as well. But the star today in terms of the reward points that came out, and you can go to sort of the live rankings on here. Who's the next highest over the course of this weekend? Kai Havertz there on 61. I mean, Kai Havertz did pretty well with scores over the course of this weekend as well. If we click on him, his share price is actually higher. He's actually higher than Rodri. His shares haven't been out as long. Half the amount sold because people didn't rate him, but now those rewards are starting to pay out. And Kai Havertz is someone that people are clearly investing their money into. If you want to learn more about StocksFC, just scan the QR code you can see on the screen now or click on the link below. Go check the website out, make yourself an account. You get free credits. I think we're giving away 5 free stocks for everybody that signs up. Plus, you do go into the hat to win a signed ball from the Champions League final in 2019 from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Legit ball from the final, signed by the player himself. So go and get yourselves signed up. We have to talk about Lamar. We can't not talk about what we just witnessed. And maybe because he didn't get on the score sheet, it isn't going to get the same attention. If he was English, though, it would be everywhere. And I think it's important to ensure, even though we're a Premier League-based channel, we follow the English teams. This man is 16. His creativity was there. Yes, he lacked that final touch in front of goal. His decision-making, Husam. The amount of times you think, he's going to try and curl it into the far corner, but he finds the right pass to a teammate. He's crossing at 16 years of age and is exemplary. Well, do you remember a 16-year-old performing like this in the knockout stages of a major international tournament? Do you remember that happening in your lifetime?
A 16-year-old playing like this in a knockout tournament like a Euros or a World Cup or something? No, to be honest with you. We haven't seen this level before, to be honest. We've seen like many impressive 16, 17, 18-year-olds. You could probably say Zidane in 98, but I don't know exactly how old he was. He might not have been a teenager per se. But there are players who are really young, who performed at a very high level. But the problem is Yamal is not just really young. He's 16. That's the difference. Like he's supposed to be like still playing football, So I think today Yamal and Nico Williams provided a lesson as to what exactly
Zidane was 26 in 1998. I just want to put that out there.
26 in 98. Fair enough.
10 years older.
Fair enough. I was 3 years old in 1998, so I wasn't sure of that information right there. But listen, whatever. Like there's young players, 25 and under, 24 and under, etc., who have played at very high level, but never 16 though. When you say at 16, that's like that's mad. Like he's not even a quote unquote an adult yet, via his country's law. So that's the crazy part. And look. Today, both of him and Nico Williams provided a lesson on exactly what a winger needs to be able to do. Both of them dribbled with a purpose. Both of them created space for others. Both of them found their overlapping player. Both of them crossed the ball into the penalty box. Both of them pass the ball into the penalty box at a very high level. And I think Lamine Yamal, the way that football is going, if he continues on this upward trajectory, you know, if he continues like this, 4 years from now, the guy could be worth like a crazy amount of money. This guy could be worth like 400 million. He could be like the biggest transfer ever if he ever moves out of Barcelona. Now, look, today, I feel like the one thing that Lamine Yamal did that's different compared to any youngster his age is the confidence that he showed. He got the ball, never ever was shy, never ever was scared, never ever wanted to take the safe option. I don't think Lamine Yamal took the safe option once today. I don't think Nico Williams either took the safe option once today. Guy just gets the ball, looks straight at the defender's eye, and directly, I want to dribble. I want to create something, I want to create space, I want to cut in, I want to shoot. He missed chances today, but when someone's 16, you give him the benefit of the doubt. When someone's 16 still, you're not going to go like, oh yeah, he can't finish, because you can fix that. But you know what you can't fix? Having courage, the ability to take risks. These are all important things. And Terry and myself and Mo and Dayo have spoken about this before, even during the Champions League. I still remember during the semi-finals when City got knocked out, we were like, listen, thank God, because now we're actually able to watch like the way football we used to watch it back in the day, where it's like, it's risk. You're going to attack 15 minutes. I'm going to attack 15 minutes. And Lamine Yamal kind of brings out that element because there is nothing about it that's systematic. I can never watch a Lamine Yamal and go like, it's a systematic because he stays in this exact position or anything. The guy was dropping deep, collecting the ball, dribbling past 2-3 players, playing passes. So I think it's kind of the things as well that don't show up on the stat sheet that impressed me a lot with Yamal. So that's what I'll say with Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, I mean, some people saying Pele. I mean, Pele was 18 at that World Cup in 1958, and I'm taking nothing away from the great Pele, who is just an icon forever.
People don't understand this. We're talking about a 16-year-old. What are you doing in my office? Out. Go.
As your child walks in.
We're talking about a 16-year-old here. A 16-year-old. Like, I don't think a lot of people are... When I see people in the comments say, oh, he's overrated, oh, Lamine Yamal is not that good. He's 16. He's playing for Barcelona. He's playing in the Euros. He's playing for his country. And you say he's not that good? In a country of millions of people? Like, I understand banter, but, there's sometimes you need to take a step back and just think deeply about what we're talking about here. 16 years old. Some people he's playing with have been playing for that long. Some people on the pitch that he's playing with have already had a 16-year career. Like they were playing when he was born. And he's met them on the pitch and outplaying them today. So I've been watching football for years. I have not seen a 16-year-old playing the Euros. I may have missed it. Maybe there was an Euro that I missed before now. Fine. But the ones I've watched, the World Cup, the ones I've watched, I've not seen a 16-year-old that I know of or that I remember.
We haven't seen any. This is what's crazy. He's got some assists. He's got assists at this tournament, which is very good. Look, I want England to win it as a fan. So when I say this, it's not what I want as a fan, but as a football person, I feel goals in knockout tournaments really matter. Now, the three biggest games potentially of the whole tournament are on the horizon: quarterfinal, semi-final, final. If this kid scores a really important goal in the quarters, has a very good game in the semis, scores the winner or one of the most important goals in the final, we are looking at something that's never happened. Now, some people are saying Pele was 16. He was born in 1940 and the World Cup was in 1958. Unless my maths is awful, that's an 18-year difference. And I'm not taking anything away from Pele. I'm simply stating that if this young man continues performing like this and adds a few really important goals in the next 3 games, if Spain go all the way, we are looking at something unprecedented potentially in the entire history of football. And it's why it may not happen. They might go out to Germany, they might lose the final, but it's kind of like why you should enjoy the ride, why it's happening. We are witnessing something that hasn't happened before. Rooney in 2004 was 18 years of age. And if I look at it from an English point of view, Michael Owen in 1998, I want to say he was 18 or 19. This is 16. It's just every example of any other young player being there. And half the time when you get these 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are in squads, Theo Walcott was in the England squad when he was 16, they don't kick the ball. This kid is, you could argue from an attacking perspective, he's been the most consistent Spaniard. So I'm absolutely mesmerized by the quality and the decision-making. And I'm saying this with respect of a child, of a young boy, because he is not an adult yet. And what we are witnessing is just amazing. And I think every single football fan on planet Earth should just be sitting down, not overly judging him at this age, not being overly critical, and just enjoying it, because we may never see this again. I don't even think.
No, but what exactly can you even judge, Terry? The guy is 16, playing for Spain, playing for Barcelona. And now the funny part is you're talking about Germany. By the way, I completely agree with you. The next game, these are so far, no one can deny Germany Spain will be game of the tournament. Those are like the best two teams taking on each other in a quarterfinal. Loser goes home. So that will be by far the best game of the whole tournament in terms of like what's at stake. This is what I'll say now. In the next 3 games, if the guy scores in a quarter, in a semi, in a final, and they win the whole thing, you're 100% right. Unless someone can correct us in the chat with something factual, we have never ever seen a 16-year-old ever do this. And the funny part is, if I line up the German defenders right now, all the experience they have, Champions League finals, winner Rudiger, loser Schlotterbeck, but was still there, and asked them who's like the guy that intimidates you the most in the Spain front line, they would all probably say Lamine Yamal. That's the scary part. And he's like their kid's age. You know, he's like 16 and he scares the shit out of them. Like, I pray for Schlotterbeck what's going to happen to him the next game. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea how the fuck he's going to deal with Yamal. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think actually people are just jealous. People just don't want him to succeed. People are just jealous. Well, to be honest, I'm kids that they thought they're gonna make it in football and play for top teams, and they just didn't make it, and they're just watching YouTube. Some people are just jealous. It's a 16 years old playing for the Spanish national team, playing for Barcelona, shifted everyone to the left. Bro, this guy, when he started playing for Barcelona, Rafinha went left. Everyone went left. That place is his. I think people are just jealous. The kid is good. He's amazing. And people just don't want to see a kid at 16 years succeed like this. They're just jealous of him. He's amazing. Like, it's not only that he's dribbling and he's exciting. The guy looks so composed as well. He looks like he has been playing football for like 10 years in the top level. Yeah, he doesn't have that much experience, but he looks like you'll never guess this guy is 16 years old.
And this is what I want to address. The comment here says, Terry, do you remember a player called Mastor was playing for AC Milan and has been said he could be the next Pele? Please stop with this nonsensical talk. Yamal will never be elite. This is where me and you're not listening to what's being said. He's been elite at this tournament. At this tournament so far, he has been excellent. He has performed. He has delivered. He has created. The only thing he hasn't done is put the ball into the back of the net, which isn't, in my opinion, his primary skill set. I think he looks to me a creator. When you cross a ball like that, when you thread a ball like that, you're a creator as well. I think the goals will come from this young man. To say, oh, he ain't composed, he's 16. What you're missing from the points being made here is that he is 3 games away from immortality. And there's another comment that came through, and I want to address them both at the same time. When it says he could be done by the time he's 20. Theoretically, he could. But if he delivers in the next 3 games, to be the star of an international tournament at 16 years of age and be influential in winning it, even if an injury ruins his career by 20, he is immortalized. And as football fans, as sports fans, this is something you have to enjoy. Something, I don't follow tennis as deeply as I follow football. But have you two heard of Emma Raducanu, an English tennis player? I think she was 17 years of age. She was a wild card entry into the US Open 2 to 3 years ago, and she won it. Our first female in 70 to 80 years to win a Grand Slam tennis tournament. But what made it even more special, in some respects, is that She hasn't really been anywhere near that level since, and injuries and problems. And she was a wild card, and she was a rank out. So she wasn't one of the best 19, 20-year-olds in the world and goes on to win it. Sometimes those stories, she'll be immortalized in tennis forever for how she won it and the rarity of her achievement. That's more what we're talking. The ability of the player is clear to see. Some of you are saying he won't be elite. I'm not going to challenge your opinion. You're entitled to it. We'll see. I think I look at his ability and see a player that could be absolutely phenomenal. But what I'm more interested in is looking at this kid and thinking, imagine he delivers in the next 3 games. We could watch a 16-year-old win player of the tournament. That's never happened in anyone's lifetime. It may never happen again. And as sports fans, that should be something we absolutely savor, in my humble opinion.
I actually think if Spain win the tournament, he might win player of the tournament. And people will be absolutely upset about that. But if he scores 1 goal against Germany, and which is, by the way, that's not like a wild take. He can score a goal against Germany from that side because they have David Raum on that side, who is not the greatest defender. He can score a goal. He can be the player of that game and go on to the semi-final and the final. They win it. He wins the player of the tournament. People will eat their words. I see it. He's already Barcelona's best player. Everybody sees that. Him and Pedri, and he already is like Barcelona's favorite player now. People don't understand this guy can be the player of the tournament, and I think it can happen. If they win again,
theoretically, yes, but I think they might give it Rodri or something. It depends what happens in the next 3 games. But you need to think PR. Yamal has the PR, to be fair. He does.
The great thing about international tournaments is they don't vote for it or decide it until it ends. Not like the bloody Premier League, where in March they decide it. When you think, hang on, you've got 2 months of football to go and you're deciding who the best player has been. At least in this, it's done after a tournament ends. And McAvee is right here. He says the difference with Lamar and sort of the other individuals that got hyped up, it wasn't based on performances at a major tournament. It's based on what he's done so far at Barca, his age, and now what he's doing at this tournament. And listen, there are other youngsters that we were all speaking about. Portugal been quite good so far. I really thought by now João Neves would have broken further into the team, had an opportunity. I still think there's a tremendous talent in there, and as he develops, he'll get good. But he didn't step up. We've seen Mainu, very different player from Lamar. I don't expect the spectaculars from him, but he's taken his opportunities, put himself into the team. Now, just if Southgate could make the team a little bit more balanced, maybe you'd see some more players shine. But what Lamar's doing is just unprecedented in our time, and it's amazing. Rooney peaked early. Well, this is what's also interesting about peaking early. I mean, Ryan Giggs is an outlier here because he came through at 17 and was still playing at 40. I still think typically players have around 15 years in them. If you start playing at 16, your 15 years is like your late 20s, early 30s. You don't start playing regularly at the highest level till you're 23, you might be able to last into your mid to late 30s. I think it's all relative, really. Plus, Rooney was a workhorse. That guy runs so much. If he was more selfish and didn't run around as much, I think he'd have got 5 or 6 more years out of him as a football player. But he burnt out. Plus, we now know the stories. That man was drinking and eating the wrong thing, smoking. No wonder he fell off at 29 years old. Jesus Christ. This here says, Terry, Yamal will never be elite. Don't cry. I mean, you haven't quantified why. You have not quantified why. You can have the opinion, but if you can't explain why, then I think you're just waffling, if I'm being honest.
Can I qualify why? Because his name is Merengues, and that's the nickname for a Real Madrid fan. That's fucking why.
There we go. Fair enough. And there had to be
Merengue is one of their nicknames. Merengue, that's one of their nicknames. This is Madrid fan. That's why, bro.
I get it. Jerome here says, yes, we got it, Dayo. He is 16. He is young. He is fearless, but very young players tend to fall off because too much pressure is put upon them. I mean, that there is that can happen. What I would say feels a little different. I haven't seen a 16-year-old do this. I haven't seen a 16-year-old come to a major tournament and be the star. I haven't seen it and not look phased. Man's still doing his schoolwork. I've seen like 16-year-olds that everyone raves about. I remember who was that guy Chelsea had? Gal Kakuta. He might be a little older with 16. Like
Charlie Mutonda.
Yeah, like barely featured in the team, barely played, wasn't dominating at major international tournaments. That's the type of youngsters that I think fade. I don't know. I don't know if this kid will, but we will see. Nico Williams is better than the lot combined. Loser buys the other Spain or German kit. Well, that's can you is that haram to buy each other kits or something? If you were to lose a friendly bet, is
because money's involved. That's the thing.
Money's involved, and then
involved.
yeah, you'd be getting a shirt through something you haven't.
I'd have to ask him to go get himself a shirt and wear it, and I had to go get myself. I cannot buy it for him, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes.
I only asked for an apology, and he said no.
Sam, I will back.
back Germany to win.
To win.
Husam will get cooked.
Yeah, listen.
No one can cook me. Spain are slapping Germany. Watch this space. I just hope it's not the 4 p.m. game. I hope they make it the night game. Listen, Spain don't have Darwin Nunez or Ruiz Diaz. Don't worry.
You are the reason why yesterday I lost my head. Because you let Scamacca score at Anfield. You are the reason I lost my head.
You boys want to hear
it? The guy, I called him mid-game and he's like, Husam, you're the reason why Scamacca's in the Italian national team. You let Scamacca score a hat-trick at Anfield and now he's fucking playing for us.
You know, do you want to know something, right? Legitimately, me and my family ruined our next door neighbor's day today. I don't know what they were watching it on. We ruined their day. So we had like a family barbecue, people round, food, few drinks, build up to the game. It's lovely. It's at 5 p.m. as well because you get the whole day to have fun and the game's on. Next door neighbors also had their own barbecue, friends round, etc. We have a little chat over the fence. It was great. It was nice. We get into the 94th minute. Bellingham scores a magnificent overhead kick. We go radio rental. We go absolutely crazy, running around, running into the garden. The dog starts barking. A dog jumped into the swimming pool because it got excited. Everyone's going crazy. Turns out, I don't know what they were watching it on, but they were like a minute behind us next door. So they knew that England had equalised because they heard us. So they cheered, but they were like it was a bit of an anticlimax because we knew we'd scored because we heard you lot going crazy. And I was like, oh, you know what?
You ruined someone.
I ain't sorry. I said, I don't care. I said, what are you watching?
You ain't sorry, but you don't want to be in their place. That's the worst part.
Crazy. Like if I come into my studio at home to watch football and people are watching it also in the other room, because I stream it in here, it's always about 30 seconds behind. I have to put earphones in and make sure it's loud so I can't hear them because I hate knowing what happens before it. One of the reasons why I stopped doing watch-alongs is that because I was streaming the game, people would put in the comments, "Oh, goal's gone in," or this. That's why I don't trust all watch-along people. Because I know that they've seen there's a goal before their reaction, I think. Because that's why I stopped doing it. Because I was like, oh, he's ruining the game for me. I love the surprise of not knowing. So, yeah, it was crazy.
That's why I get BN Sports on satellite. I'm ahead of the whole world. Not a single time on my watch-along experience has anyone been ahead of me by a second. I'm ahead of everyone. So, yeah,
that's good. That's good, man. Listen, I want to thank you boys for coming on. This video is going to take you through to FHM. That's the boys' channel. Go and support it. Go and check it out. Remember, go and get yourselves an account set up at StocksFC as well. Put your money where your mouth is when it comes to your players. And as I've said to a few people that have asked this question in DMs, it is not a gambling company, a bookmakers, or anything along those lines. It's not part of gambling commissions or anything like that. It's essentially about investing in your footballing knowledge. You could call it a game. You could call it knowledge-based. Anything. It's a knowledge-based way of increasing your money. So yes, anyone, because a few people have asked, I want to do it, but I don't want to be. It looks like it's gambling. As far as I'm aware, it isn't. But yes, it isn't. I don't know whether you're allowed to do it if it's religious or it's cultural. Go and check that out with people that know a bit more about those backgrounds. But go check out StocksFC. It's really, really good. Oh, I think we had a super chat come through right towards the end here. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sam, it will be much closer game than you think when Germany and Spain play. The game is very good as they both come out to play football.
I don't think it will be. Listen, when I said slapping, I was exaggerating because I said 2-0 at the end. A slapping is like 5-0. I'm not saying that. I said 2-0, but I think it'll probably be a bit more comfortable than you think. Because I also don't think Kai Havertz is worrying any fucking Spanish defender. So enjoy that, brother.
Listen, everyone go. I'm just checking to make sure I've got the redirect set up. See, this is really lovely.
MHF, Terry, not FHM, not the magazine, brother.
I thought I did it and saved it, and it obviously didn't save. I'm so glad I checked it, right? So I'm going to do it now.
Thanks, Jerome.
There we go. Well done. Well done. So that is definitely now saved on there. So this is going to redirect you guys. Go and check it out. And if it doesn't redirect you, just put in MHF and go and watch the boys.
Yes, vamos.